Hello, so today I'm going to be showing you how to make a page on InDesign. It's going to be really easy and quick. All you have to do is follow these instructions. So the first thing I'm going to do is go to File and then New, click on Document, and I'm putting the number of pages and the start page both in as 2.
I would jump out my skin just to get you. Oh my God.
So after I make a new spread, the first thing I like to do is go to View, Grids and Guides, and then down to Show Document Grid. This is going to give you all of your picas, so the spacing on your spread will just be perfect and clean and crisp. After I turn on my grids and guides, I'm going to go over to my sidebar and click on the box and make a box in the middle of my spread. And I'm doing this because we're designing traditionally, and the key to designing traditionally is starting from the middle and working your way out. So I'm doing this by putting this box in the middle, which will eventually be my dominant photo. And after I make this box, in order to work around it and see what I'm doing, I'm going to fill it with a dark blue color. So if you're working on a newer version of InDesign, you're going to have these pesky blue boxes around. So I'm going down to View and Extras, and I'm clicking on the Hide Frame Edges, and this will get rid of those boxes. I don't know, it's just a personal preference. I really don't like them. So after I do that, I'm going to make some boxes around my larger box, and these are going to be photos that surround my dominant photo. And when you're making these, I would suggest to you to really make your spacing clean and crisp and all the same size, because in the end it looks so tasteful and just so much better than it would if the spacing wasn't aligned. So in order to make the same size box every time, I went to Command C, and I Command C the box and then Command V. And so basically what that's doing is copying and pasting, and it's just a lot easier than going up to File or Edit, Copy and Paste every time. The next thing I'm doing is, after I make my box, I'm going up to my border and I'm adding a white border around that. And I think this one is with 2 points. And what happens is, when you put your dominant photo in and these smaller photos surrounding that, it looks really cool. It looks like the box is just kind of floating over that picture. So now we're moving on to captions, and what I'm doing is I'm making a text box next to my photos, and I'm just kind of filling that with filler text right now. And I'm gonna do the same thing I did with the boxes and copy and paste that on every single one. Something I would suggest you to do is align the text in the caption to the photo it's next to. That way you can tell which caption goes to which picture, and it just looks a lot better than having it going the opposite way. If you have a photo that's at the bottom, like the one I'm working on right now, that's kind of a different story. I would align it to wherever the captions on the page are going, but it just always looks a lot better. What I'm doing next is making the title for my story, and I'm doing that by making a text box. So you're going to go over to your sidebar, click on the T, and then you can make the text box as big as you want it. And I'm making a separate text box for every word that's in the title. This is kind of advanced. Most people don't start out doing this, but I would suggest it because it's easier to manipulate the words and make them whatever size you want. Also, if you don't want to have a big box surrounding your word, all you have to do is click on the lower right box when it's highlighted, and that will shrink that and surround the word so it's not too big. When choosing fonts, I would choose a font that has a lot of faces. So that means it has an italicized face, a bold face, an ultra bold face, a thin face, and it's super easy to manipulate the words, and then you don't have to choose a bunch of different fonts. After making my title for my story, I'm going to make a separate text box under that. This is going to be for my subhead. So the subhead's going to give in maybe 5 or 6 words what the story is going to be about. That way, if the reader really doesn't feel like reading the story, they can look at the subhead and go, okay, this is about why I should join your book. Now we move on to the story part. So what I'm going to do is copy and paste one of the text boxes I used for the captions, and I'm just going to expand that to however big I want my story to be, so the width and the height. And then, because I don't have an actual story to fill it, I'm going to just fill this with filler text, so I'm copying and pasting what I already have in it a bunch of times. Then from there you can change the font size. The font I'm using here is AYT Chantilly Light, which is what we use in Yearbook for our stories this year.
Sometimes the blues just a passing bird, and why can't that always be?
So after getting your story exactly how you want it, width, height, font size wise, I am copy and pasting the boxes I already have for my pictures, and I'm going to put that below the story, and I'll fill that with pictures that actually relate to the story. So now that I've got my pictures for my story ready, I think I want to move my title over. So even though I've done this in a bunch of different boxes, you can still group them. And you're going to go to Object and then Group, and that will make it so all of the font and text can move as one. The next thing I'm going to do is make my spread bigger or expand it up a little bit. And you can do that again by clicking them all at once and then moving. So the next thing I'm doing is making a transparent box, and you can do this by, again, going over to your sidebar and clicking on the box and making it as big and tall as you want it to be. In Yearbook, we drag ours off of the page because when it prints, it just looks like it runs straight off. Now I'm choosing a new color, so I'm going to New Color Swatch and choosing a Jostens color. This one is going to be Jostens Summer Chlorine. And I'm going to change the transparency to 52. That's what we always use in Yearbook. So to add more coverage and people on this page, I'm going to be copying and pasting the boxes that we already have and adding them to the transparent box below. I'm adding captions to these boxes and making the font size 9 or 10. Typically that's what you want it to be because you don't want it to take away from your story. And I have it right now in preview mode, so you can do that by pressing Shift W when you don't have a text box selected, I guess, and that will give you a preview, so it will fill your whole screen with the spread, and it will kind of show you what it's going to eventually look like. What I'm doing now is not at all necessary to add to your page, but it's kind of something fun to do if you want to dress it up, kind of make it cool. We didn't use this year in Yearbook. I actually just learned how to do this, so I thought might as well teach you guys. So I just made a box, and on my sidebar, I clicked on the white mouse that's next to the black one, and I'm going to kind of change the shape of the box. So I turned it into a triangle. Making them perfectly straight can kind of be the tricky part, so it's okay to play around with them and kind of just make them whatever shape you want. That's what's fun about it. And I'll speed it up for you guys a little bit, but right now I'm just copy and pasting and messing around with it. And once I'm done and have like definitive idea of what I want it to be, I'm going to show you guys how to put a picture in what you just made. Something to keep in mind, and something you can see here probably, is that most of InDesign is trial and error. So you're going to do something that you probably don't like, and then you can always fix that and then turn it into something that actually looks really cool. So just play around with stuff, see what looks good and see what doesn't look good, and then go on from there.
Hey ho, on the run again. Drive is strong. Onward. Sticking stones won't take its course. Got the part.
So now is the fun part, which is putting the picture behind the graphic you just made. So the first thing I'm gonna want to do is select everything and then go to Object, Path, and then Make Compound Path. The next thing I'm gonna do is place a picture. So basically what Make a Compound Path did is just select everything into one, and it's going to place the picture really cool. So I just chose a picture off of our server, and I ended up not liking the graphic where it was. So I'm going to move it over to the left side of my page and then kind of move everything over around that. So the next thing I'm going to be doing is placing the pictures. So you're going to go up to File, Place, and then choose the picture. I have Girls Golf open because I play golf, and it was kind of the first thing that I saw on the server. So I'm just placing pictures from that. Something we do in yearbook and something I do actually. Oh, hi, Cole. I'm talking to myself. Yeah, right over here. Yep. Anywho, something that we do in yearbook a lot is called word graphics, and I do these actually a lot. What you're going to do, it's the same thing as making a title for your story. It's just making a bunch of different text boxes and then filling them with words and different fonts and font sizes and colors. And I'm using AYT Chantilly and AYT Hudson, and I'm using only 2 because of, again, the many faces that Chantilly has. And you can see I'm just kind of manipulating the words, changing the colors, changing the outline, and in the end it actually ends up looking pretty cool.
I was thinking about the day we met, when the love came rushing out and you were empty-handed, filled with regret. I was thinking about the day we met, when the love came rushing out and you were empty-handed, filled with regret.
So after putting the 2 pictures in below my story, I'm going to give photo credits to the people that took the pictures. Even if you took your pictures and it's on your page, give yourself some credit. Like, you want to see your name on that page for the work that you did. So I am giving photo credits to Elliot DeRose. He took the golf pictures, and Kayla Graves took the Mini-O pictures. I just realized that I actually forgot to give myself story credit. So usually you're just going to put the name in italics below the story. And anytime you give credit, you should always put it in italics. So that was just the spread in full size. I guess I'm changing something. But whenever I'm done with the spread, I always like to go, again, press Shift W and see what it looks like in larger scale, because that helps me get a better visual of what it will actually look like when it's in a book. I really hope this video helped you guys. I know it's kind of the basics, but oh my gosh, I'm just realizing that the caption that's bottom third on the left should be next to the picture. But anyway, thanks so much for watching.